What's up guys, Chris here with another Eden Zero manga chapter review, and this one, again, not too much happened. We got a nice explanation as to why Holy wants to team up with the Eden Zero crew, a bit more depth of how the Irrational Seis, how all of them work and why they were created, even though it was kind of obvious. We get some bit of extra information on one of the rest of the Irrational Seis Galactica, and perhaps a tease as to what Holy's Ether Gear ability could in fact be. But before we get into this chapter, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help. Also, if you want to check out when I update on future videos or just whatever the hell I do in my free time, if I ever post, go check out my Twitter and Instagram account at the Greek Weeb, as I do update on there pretty regularly, especially with my Twitter account when I do new videos, or if I have like random thoughts that I just want to talk about out in the open. Also, don't forget to check out my Patreon and Coffee accounts if you want to help support the channel more directly. If you want to, I got some nice perks on my Patreon account, as helping me with on those Patreon and Coffee will in fact help me get videos out a lot quicker and at much better quality than they already are. But these videos are being done in really good quality anyway, but I just want to get videos done a lot quicker, as I do have a lot of video ideas that I want to get out there for you guys. Now with all that said and done, let's get into chapter 177 of Eden Zero, titled Holy Judgment. So we continue where we left off with Rebecca and Shiki talking with Holy on the fact that they're joining forces, and Rebecca is obviously wary that it's obviously a trap. Now if Holy states that they shouldn't really be like that and to at least hear her out. They both want to defeat Ziggy, and this is something that they have to do. But they can't talk here, especially with all the prying eyes. Shoshi tells the group to meet them on the roof in 1 hour. Now, Lavilia is kind of looking away, and I didn't mention this last week as I didn't really mention it, but she does have short hair. It's a nice little character change, especially for post-time skip, so you'll like it. She looks kind of cute. But yeah, she looks away, kind of sad. Rebecca's asking Lavilia if she's okay, and that she didn't mean to get them wrapped up in their weird crap. And she just states kind of shyly that Shiki saved her again. But Shiki states that there's something different about her, and even she says that Shiki looks more grown up. Rebecca and Lavilia have like a bit of an awkward conversation asking how she's doing, and Lavilia says that she's alright, and Rebecca seems to be doing well. And she goes off on her own, saying if she'll excuse me, as Rebecca asks her if they could talk later when all this stuff going on is done. But Lavilia says she has nothing to talk to her about, with Rebecca looking on kind of sad. Shiki states that is thinking that maybe she hasn't changed at all, but Rebecca says that she didn't even say one nasty thing, and that's not like Lavilia, and she wonders what's happened, as Lavilia, we get a nice single panel of her just very sad. We then jump cut to the top of the roof, the rooftop lounge, as it is much nicer than where they were before, as apparently this is for like people that are staying at this whole area, like actually staying in rooms and stuff. Happy and Pino look over, and we see Holy jumping out of the pool very seductively. I really feel like post-time skip Mashima is just being like, how horny can I make these chapters? Oh man, that is just freaking hilarious. I mean, I'm not upset by this at all. I'm just saying that multiple chapters in a row we've had these types of moments, and I find it hilarious. But I know there are going to be people out there that are just be frustrating at the fan service in general. I don't mind fan service. I think it's been being done in a pretty nice way, so I'm going to leave it be. But yeah, no, she states everyone by name, and I like how she's telling them just to be relaxed and get comfortable as she is cooking on the barbecue, stating that she didn't expect them to be there so early. She hasn't even finished cooking. And I like how this entire time, Wise is just ogling her the entire time. Shiki gets right down to business, saying that they didn't come to eat. But Holy says that she wants to make one thing clear. She was not in favor of naming Shiki one of the Irrational Seis Galactica, but she wasn't opposed to it either. She was more neutral in the stance. She does acknowledge Shiki's strength, all in all, and the powers are on the same level as dear Elsie. She's saying like dear for everyone, like an older, like a mother to an extent, or an aunt or something. So that's a nice little character trait. So I like that she's stating that Shiki is pretty much on the level of Elsie right now. But she continues to state that if they are to defeat Ziggy as well as the rest of the Galactica, working together will be the most efficient. Homer asks the obvious question. She's with the Union Army. Why would the Union Army ask? But she ends up giving us a nice piece of information about the Irrational Seis Galactica. They're a special team organized specifically to defeat the Galactica. They have no commander at all, which is something I didn't expect. By the way Holy speaks, I think that they had a commander. With how this chapter goes on, it makes me think that maybe Holy is a commander now, or something like that. I would have thought Jaguar, since he was the oldest member, was, you know, a commander for their group. But anyway, they have no commander, and they're authorized to act on their own individual judgment, meaning that they're just free agents under the employ of the Union Army to do whatever the hell they want, as long as it's under the law, obviously. So yeah, they're free to team up with whoever the hell they want. But she just states that Shiki's group don't believe everyone in the government is evil, and she is also saying the same blame that she doesn't believe that they are evil. And Shiki brings up that is a very good point, as everyone is given a pile of food to enjoy. As Rebecca is kind of like digging in right away, as Pino just states there is no toxins, no poisons, no nothing wrong with the food, because that is an obvious thing. Now she sits down and says that now it's time to get to the main order of business, as she stares at Pino, saying that she assumes that Hermit and the rest of the crew are listening in on their conversation through Pino. So I wonder how she's so well informed, but then again, with Pino being a little android, perhaps she could assume this. But yeah, Hermit, Sister, and Connor, as well as Clean, Jin, and Laguna, are kind of listening in through Hermit's laptop, right through Hermit's eyes. I do kind of like how Sister's being like, I'd love to invite her to my training room. Just being Sister all the time, it's just perfect. It's something exactly that she would say in this type of situation with the person that they're talking to. But yeah, I like how everyone's kind of has their doubts about Holy, like in general. But Holy explains that their ultimate goal is to defeat Ziggy, but she has another objective. She wants to track down Dead End Crow of the Eurasian Space Galactica and kill him with her own hands. Now, let's just take a good look. We finally got Dead End Crow out of the main dark silhouette, not showing his actual design. We're seeing his initial design. It looks cool. Now, I thought it would be something very different, in all things considered, with the silhouette that we got previously. But again, my prediction video that I did like 2-3 months ago, when the time skip first happened, was about his ether gear abilities, and if he did have one. But let's continue. Now, everyone's being like Dead End Crow, and it's unsettling that she wants to kill him. She just straight up says he's not going to help with murder. That she didn't mean to be so blunt, and is saying, of course. Arresting him would be honestly fine, especially since he'd probably get a death penalty anyway. But she just states it's not their problem. But she says I wouldn't be so sure, as Crow is on the planet Lendard as they speak, and he has joined forces with Ziggy, much to everyone's shock. Ziggy and one of the Galactica teaming up. Now that is a big bomb drop, and everyone's wondering why would Ziggy team up with a human? He just wants a world for mechanical life forms. As Holy drops another bombshell that Dead End Crow is an android, and before Ziggy was reawakened and became the powerful force that he is today, and a very big threat, Dead End Crow was the most dangerous android in all the cosmos, and he instigated the bloody Utmost Day incident, which resulted in 1 million casualties. As Shiki doesn't know what's going on, Pino looks it up and is just horrified at what she sees, as this was mass murder. But here's the thing, Holy states that it was the public story, but the truth is far worse, and someone she knew got caught up in it. Crow thinks of humans as his toys, and that's enough reason for him to join with Ziggy. He doesn't see them as living creatures, he doesn't value their lives, like Ziggy does right now, meaning they're the perfect people to team up. So that is a worst case scenario. Two of the strongest androids that want to wipe out all organic life, essentially, or enslave them, just teamed up. So yeah, Holy states that she will help defeat Ziggy, but she wants them to help defeat Crow as well. Everyone's looking at Shiki for his decision, but he states, I need you to let me think on this real quick. I'll go back to the ship and talk with the rest of the crew, which is a very smart decision. And I really do like that Shiki has come into his own as an actual leader, especially since it's been 3 years and everything that happened in the Aoi War. I'm so happy that Shiki has grown into the leader that isn't just being like, okay, let's team up, and he's deciding to think it over with the rest of the crew. He's really matured in this aspect. But Holy states that whether the answer is yes or no, she will not be their enemy. But that goes for Elsie as well, so she doesn't see Elsie as her enemy either. And she says, I look forward to your response. Now, the next 2 pages, I'm just going to briefly sum over. We go back to those jerks from last chapter that were, harassing Lavilia and Rebecca and threatening to do all sorts of, very creepy things to them as they continue to say this stuff. But then one of the guys just straight up starts to melt away. All of them begin to melt away into goo. I don't know if they're dead or alive, but they just straight up melt away as if they were hit with acid. So we get one single panel of Holy stating, "I wonder if my spell is working its magic yet." As she is in the shower stating, "Let all the filth just melt away." As she has a sinister smile stating, "I look forward to your response, Shiki." So this could be a very obvious trap as stated, but maybe she is telling the truth and just wants to get rid of anyone she sees as evil or disgusting. Yeah, she just killed like 3 civilians. Yeah, they were horrible monsters. They were monsters to an extent. They were creeps. They were creeps that should not really be anything that someone should strive to be. That's kind of an obvious statement. But they did deserve to die for being assholes. Then again, you never know what would have happened if Shiki and Rebecca did not show up when they did, or Holy in that aspect. But anyway, we jump back to everyone in the group as they're going over what's been going on. Wise is still obsessed with how hot Holy is. So yeah, they're going over the fact that Holy doesn't seem like a bad person, but Shiki can't really trust anyone from the government because he basically just sees everyone as justice, especially with that first interaction that they've had. But I like how Pino and Happy just naturally say that Shiki has grown, as he did not just fall for the whole "let's be friends" line, despite him asking random people earlier to be friends earlier. So yeah, he didn't initially just want to become friends with Holy, so that shows his growth also, so that's honestly pretty nice. But then Lavilia shows up, asking Rebecca if they could talk for a few minutes. As she states, "I have something very important to say, and I absolutely must tell you before I die," ending the chapter. So, not only in this chapter did we get the full reveal of who or what Dead End Crow, one of the Irrational States Galactica, is, and Holy's motivations, we get a glimpse of what Holy's magical power can in fact be, her ether gear to an extent. She calls it a spell, but it could just be her ether gear. Perhaps a delayed thing where she can just turn anybody she deems as an enemy into mush. That's honestly kind of scary, especially since she wasn't in the area when they were turned to mush. As well as the whole thing with Dead End Crow being an android and teaming up with Ziggy, meaning that 2 very powerful androids are ready to take on the cosmos. And that is a worst case scenario. And at the end of this chapter, we also get Lavilia showing up saying that she has something very important to tell Rebecca before she dies. Meaning that Lavilia is dying, or is going to die. Either someone is out to kill her, or maybe she's dying herself by some sort of disease. There's no clear way of telling. It can go one or the other. So, yeah, that was the chapter. That was very interesting. I like that it was basically like an info dump to an extent. Now, how long until we get to the Lendert arc initially will it be? I'm not entirely sure. I say maybe another like 2 or 3 chapters of build up before we get into this main arc, as it is going to be another all-out war to an extent, as it's a planet full of androids against Elsie's fleet and the Eden Zero crew and potentially Union Army soldiers. Do I think that Holy's truce or idea of teaming up is a trap? Possibly, but I stated this in last chapter. They could team up. Her initial thoughts are, let's team up, this will make taking these guys down much easier. Taking out Ziggy much easier, but once we take out Ziggy, we'll arrest Shiki and Elsie, as they'll be too exhausted to fight back afterwards, most likely. But now Dead End Crow is in the mix, making this even bigger haul for the Union Army if they can get 4 threats to the cosmos out of the way, and 3 of them are part of the Irrational States Galactica, meaning that there will only be 2 members of the Galactica left, unless someone else joined the ranks of the Galactica that the government deemed over the last couple of years. You know, honestly, I'm kind of surprised Ziggy has not been deemed one of the Irrational States Galactica at this point. But yeah, this could honestly be a trap. This could be a setup for when everything's said and done, she'll take out the rest of the crew along with Ziggy, Crow, and Elsie. But maybe she is genuine, but she just has a twisted sense of judgment and justice on other people. That's still very well to be discussed and explored. But I look forward to see what happens next chapter. We'll probably get the explanation of why Lavilia is acting very differently, why she's going to die, how she's going to die. Now, I'm honestly all in favor of perhaps maybe her being able to live longer. Maybe she gets an ether gear or awakens an ether gear, and she decides to join the Eden Zero crew as a crew member. Now, what she can do is all up in the air with what kind of ether gear power that she does have, but I'm sure that maybe the crew will be insisting or they'll be fine with Lavilia joining the group, especially if Rebecca is cool with it. But yeah, that's my thoughts and opinions on chapter 177 of Eden Zero. Another good chapter. We got some info dump. We got a nice setup once more, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited to see what happens next. Now, with all that said and done, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments on what you think is going to happen next with Lavilia, with Holy, with this whole situation. And also, don't forget to check out my Patreon and Coffee accounts if you want to support the channel more directly. It really will help get more videos out a lot quicker. And with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.